Hello, guys. Welcome to the show this morning. Today is November 7th, 2018. Wow, time's moving. But guess what? We had an election in the United States last night. And the Democrats have taken the control. Now, not complete control. Right now, it's like a gridlock. Republicans have half a control, the Democrats have half a control right now. And so this has only happened, this exact thing has only happened 4 other times in history. Once during the Great Depression, and 3 times during the Reagan administration. But there's a little bit of a difference this time, for the first time ever. And what the difference actually is, well, let's get going and let's start the charts right here. Bang. Okay, now what the big difference is this time is that has to do with sentiment, that the Democrats have a certain sentiment. And the other times it's happened, there's always been a very high regard for the office of president. Every other time that this has happened, the 4 times in history it's happened, there's always been an extremely high regard for the office of president. Now, I got a question. My question is, this time, what is the regard by the Democrats for the office of president? What is their regard? How do they perceive the office of president? Do they hold him in extremely high regard? Do they? That's a question. Okay, now the next thing I want to get at this is bipartisan. How will they function in a bipartisan way this time around? Will they be balking at every last little thing that comes across the desk? Like, I'm not going to touch this. This has been touched by a Republican. I'm not going to vote for this. Will they be like that? Or will they have an open mind and have a high regard for the office of president? How's it going to be? You know, will the American government be able to function very good, like a well-oiled machine? Or will there be no bipartisan support whatsoever? You know what I mean? Will it actually clog up the effectiveness of government, or just how is this going to function? This is my question. This is what I'm interested in. Now, we're going to find out. Come the 1st of January, we're going to start to find out the ramifications of this. But another thing I got to say is that this is how democracy works. The Democrats got elected in office, and this is it. They got voted in. They're voted in. This is it. They're coming. They're coming on January 1st. And my personal opinion is, I think it's going to clog up the way government functions. Quite seriously. It's going to be like right now, if you had a great big area where there's a giant toilet, and that's government. Government, that's a good way of putting the government, is a giant toilet, right? So you got all these toilet stalls, and everything's functioning good. The toilets are all flushing nice, you know, and everything's going down. All the crap is going down the holes just fine, because they say there's a dozen toilets there, and they're all flushing good and everything. And the plungers are sitting in the corner, and everything's working good, right? This is going to plug up all the toilets like somebody rolled up toilet paper and threw them in all the toilets, and all the toilets are going to be overflowing, and the poo's going to be flowing all over the floor. That's what I see happening. Because nothing's going to move. Nothing's going to function properly. That's what I see it come January. We're going to have to wait and see what actually happens. And what's going to be the response today to the markets? Well, let's get in there and find out. Let's open up the charts right now and take a look. Well, I opened the charts already, but let's really get into this and take a look Cryptocurrency's doing okay, but then cryptocurrency doesn't move with anything else. It moves all, it's like it's off in its own little world someplace, and everything else can be going up and down, the stock market and everything else, gold and silver and everything, and cryptocurrency's off in its own little world someplace. It's kind of like a retarded guy that's over in the corner or something, and he's off in his own little world, singing his little song while the world is falling down around him. Anyway, that's cryptocurrency. 64.99. It's been a little bit bullish the last couple days. It's had a bullish trend starting, and this bullish trend, I think it's going to continue. I think it's just going to continue little dibs up and little dibs up. And the first thing you know, it's going to be up around $7,000. That's what I think's coming. But do not use anything I say as financial advice because, seriously, it's your money and you got to learn how to invest it the way you see to invest it. It's almost like, it's a personal thing for each and every individual, how they make their own investments. So let's see. Let's take a look at cryptocurrency market capitalizations. $219 billion. It touched $220 billion yesterday, but now it's backed off just a tad. $219 billion. Bitcoin dominance of 51.7%, and what we're seeing is a mixed bag in the coins today again. But these coins are up from yesterday. A lot of them are up quite a little bit. XRP is still up to 53 cents, and it was in the 40-cent range there. So that's a substantial increase in a very short period in time. Let's take a look at the silver price today. Silver is bouncing all over the place like an Indian rubber ball. Here we go. We're up 8 cents, supposedly up 8 cents, but I see it moving downwards right now, and it's kind of following in this trough where it has been for the last week or two. It's at $14.57 today. Let's check gold. Gold is at $1,226.20. It's down 30 cents. So basically, gold's went nowhere. Let's take a look at the Dow Jones now today and see what we got. Well, let me just give it a click here and get the page refreshed. 218 points up. I guess, I don't know, this is the rally that I was forecasting. A few days ago, I was forecasting a rally in the stock market, and I said it could go up high. It could go up high enough to make new highs. And this is the rally. We're in the middle of it right now, the rally I was forecasting. This is the big one. I don't know how else to say that, but this rally is probably going to continue, be it ups and downs. It's going to have a few ups and downs, so it'll have a few down days in it. We haven't seen too much down days yet, but we probably will. This rally is going to continue to have ups and downs, and it's going to continue while that bond rate on the 10-year right now is right at about 3.2. It's going to slowly creep up, 3.21, 3.22, and this might take a little while. This might not be instantaneous, but the rally's going to continue. Once that U.S. Treasury 10-year starts to get up higher, as it starts to move higher, that's when this rally's getting really in jeopardy of ending. Now, there's a big difference between the last two times we've had a market drop-off in the stock market and this time. This time's going to be the big one. This time's the big one. It's coming up. You just got to wait for it. Now, crude oil, $62.62. It's up 41 cents on the day, which is no big deal because we've had a lot of drop. We dropped from $76.20 all the way down to $61.79, and now we've bounced back a little bit from $61.79. They need the price of crude to stay high. Anyway, that's a story for another day. But I talked about it on a show I did yesterday about silver. Now let's take a look at bonds and rates. Today, the bond yields are really not going much of anywhere. they're moving. The yields have fell just a little bit, but it's such a small amount. It's like it's not a really big deal how much they've moved. But the U.S. 10 years at 3.19, and the U.S. 30 years at 3.39, and the U.S. 5 years at 3.04. The U.S. 2 year is at 2.94, and the yields have fell just a tiny little bit. Now let's take a look at the U.S. dollar index. We've got a little drop in the U.S. dollar index today, 95.89. This takes a little bit of the pressure off of them, this drop in the U.S. dollar. As long as that dollar stays below 97. If the dollar goes above 97, that's when they're going to start to react to it. So if the dollar goes up too fast, too quick, we could be looking at a rise in the price of gold. That doesn't sound normal, because normally when the dollar goes up, gold goes down. But in this case, it's because I've noticed something, that they are actually quite literally starting to bring some of the silver manipulators to task. That work for J.P. Morgan even. And this kind of shows me that it's getting toward the end of the silver and gold manipulation. And when they start to get to the end of it, then they're going to be switching over and manipulating it to the upside, because they're going to keep on manipulating it. But it's just that they're going to do it secretly, and they're going to manipulate it to the upside instead, because ultimately, I believe that the high orders for what happens comes from much higher up than these guys that are working for the banks that are taking the fall for manipulating the silver. I think the orders to do these things are coming from much higher sources. That's what I think personally. Anyway, listen, thank you guys for listening. Like and subscribe, and we'll catch you in the next market report. Bye-bye, guys.